Hey y'all, hey, we are back for another review. We are back with Ruthless. We're back from the mid-season finale and we are back with a bang. Just a disclaimer, this episode is going to be a little bit longer than the normal pace of reviews. We know that these episodes come out, you get 2 or 3 at a time, and I just don't have the capacity to make a full video per episode, so I'm just going to do as quickly as a recap as I can, and then you'll get more meat and potatoes, when they start coming out weekly, or when it's a little bit more slower paced. Either way, let's try to make this thing as condensed as possible. Like I said, Ruthless is back, and we're back in action. We're back from the mid-season. So just to recap from what happened in the last 8 episodes, we're in the midst of a breakdown. Everybody's breaking down. The FBI is snooping too close for comfort on the compound. We got Andrew. He's gotten away from the FBI agents. He's gotten back on the compound at some point. You'll see that in the next 3 episode breakdown. Most of them survived a shootout in the woods when the heist was taken captive by some of the members, where Ruth had a plan to get money and whatever else, all that was going on. River has gone mad with power. He's at odds with everybody, to include Joan. He has no allies right now. Excuse me, the hiccups. They have acquired an ultrasound machine, and Ruth is on the table, and her day of reckoning is upon us. So we're going to jump right into season 5, episode 9, entitled The Sunshine. So Elder Mother is doing the ultrasound, and there actually is a baby. There is actually a little bundle of joy in there, and then everybody is shocked and appalled. Everybody except Dias, because he has no idea what's going on in the compound, child. They hear the heartbeat. Even Ruth seems surprised. Now, don't know why she was surprised, because, well, I guess so, because there is no traditional medical care on this compound. Don't know if that baby's going to be Dicons or the Hyacinths. But by the end of these 3 episodes, you'll realize that it probably really don't even matter much. But I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Let me know in the comments what y'all think. I think that she might have had an inclination that she was, and she did not want to confirm it to make herself seem weak and to make herself a target, because we know Ruth is in fact in charge of the girls, and she's always 10 steps ahead, and maybe she was, or she thought she was, with no confirmation here in the compound, right? And so she kept that to herself, and she decided to deny it. I think with her allies, she told a lot of her allies, like, hey, I'm not knocked up. I just told him that, So, I don't know. I don't know if she really believed she was, but girl, you are now. So, congratulations, question mark. Okay. River is pissed at the baby being actually real, like he's spazzing out. He's still communicating with the FBI lady on that cell phone, which that's sure going to come back to burn him, I'm sure. The FBI finally agrees to let the journalist and her cameraman go in. And of course, that cameraman is someone different from who we've seen thus far. It's surely another agent that's in there to do some surveillance. And of course, they're going in for that interview, but the journalist is going in for the interview of a lifetime. Of course, she wants to be world-renowned for this interview with a cult member, because this thing could go very bad, and she wants to have the scoop. And of course, that cameraman slash FBI agent is in there to collect intel, to spot weaknesses and vulnerabilities within the camp, just to do his FBI job, right? Okay. Lacey's still crashing out all over the compound, and she has some plans to get people to listen to her when the reporter comes in, and this is going to be very dramatic, and that'll come up in the next episodes as well. We see that a mob has formed outside of the front gates. We also see that the journalist finally goes in for the interview, and of course the heist is painting the place as paradise. He's given shining glory and nothing is wrong. Mid-interview, he sees the ghost of his dead hooker mama, and River and Ruth kind of sweep in and snap him back to reality. While they're all on break, they're all walking around, and he's getting some B-roll footage, aka kind of snooping around. We see Lacey trying to pop out on them and trying to pop out in shorts, and that kind of catches up with her and, trying to keep her locked away in the trailer with I can't remember their names, the dude with no eyeballs and Manny. And the dude with no actual balls, because they chopped them off. Okay. We get back to the interview, and we see that the heist compares himself to Martin Luther King and Gandhi and other leaders that the government lied on and ultimately assassinated and all these other things. And it was a good move. It's a very smart move, but inaccurate. But, nice try. All right, we see Lacey. Lacey is in the trailer losing her shit. Like, she's stripping her clothes off. And Manny is continuing to be the pervert that he always is. And she knows that he is a weak link. She already knows what he has done to Zane. And I think she's really not out of her wits as far as we think she is. In this moment. Either way, he goes to have sex with her in the trailer now. Like, while you on guard duty, and she overpowers him for his gun and the keys. And she's about to jump out, and again, she's about to exact her plan and get as much as attention as she can to let everybody know that this ain't paradise like they're being believed to be, what they're being told to believe. Either way, Daikon sees her about to jump out again. He grabs her. He is choking her out. Like, he is really about to unalive her when Zane comes over with a rock to save her, and to support her, to convince her to go to the reporter to tell her story, to do what she needs to do. And then she, of course, Lacey is tired and she don't have no more fight in her. But Zane is like, listen, I'm with you. I got your back. I believe in you. You can do this. This is your mission. Do what you got to do. And then, so now she's gotten away from Daikon because he's knocked out down there on the ground. And so she's supposed to catch up with the reporters before they leave the compound. And she sneaks into the kitchen, and she comes back. She jumps out at the last second to show the real Raku, as she called. Let me show you what the real Raku is. Let me show you what's really happening on the compound. And the highest, he's taken off his square, and he's trying to call for Obadiah, but it's too late. She pours gasoline on herself, and she sets herself on fire. And I know that it's just a TV show. But when I tell you gripped me, like grabbed my heartstrings, because I'm like, to know that she was so desperate. She knew that her life was pretty much over. She knew that her only other goal in life was to go down, come hell or high water, to reveal what this place truly is. And if that was by way of lighting myself ablaze, that is what I needed to do. Now, I don't know if the story's going to get out, but that's what she did. She went out real badass. Question mark. I don't know. Let me know if y'all think that was badass. I think it was selfless, but I won't say badass. I'll just go with self. Self is going to be my descriptor of choice. All right, we got Anthony Daikon. He can't handle it anymore. He is there to rub it in the highest's face and let him know, like, I told you it was a bad idea. I've always been by your side. I've been with you since the beginning of this thing, and we built this thing together. You got all these three snakes in your ear by way of it being River, Obadiah, and Ruth, and I'm just here. I'm the only one that's truly loyal to you, and I got dirt on all of them. Like, I got prices on all their head, like, type thing. Like, look, I told you it was a bad idea. I got secrets on all these people, and the highest cannot stand for it. Like, he tells him, like, hey, you need to go away while you can. You need to get out of my face while you can, basically. And later that night, we see a chopped off head in the courtyard, of which we can go ahead and assume that is Daikon's. And we know that that's going to be because of his insolence the same day. All right, we're going to jump into episode 10 immediately, entitled The Song. And it appears that it in fact was Daikon's heads that was rolling on the ground, and the heist is having a funeral for him in his trailer, one-man show, and then the ghost of his mom shows up to ask him what he thinks he knows about love. Now, it seems like nobody really knows who unalived Daikon, at least at this point, so we're going to have to figure that out. The heist is so far off of his rocker that he can't give the morning prayer to his flock, and so somebody's going to have to stand in to do that for him. We also see that Andrew and two of the cartel members were able to sneak onto the compound. Of course, two of the cartel members are on a different mission. We got Lilo's brother, Glitch, and Heat. I think Heat is not his brother. Glitch is his brother, but they're there to get the money, get some money that they came there to get, and to do whatever else they came there to do. And of course, Andrew, I don't know what Andrew's goal is. It just looks like he's there to kind of hang out so he doesn't have to pay the price to the FBI as far as him being involved in the other officer being unalived and his wife and all that good stuff. Okay. The heist is still talking to this ghost. He's going to be talking to this ghost mama for the rest of this episode, so much so that he doesn't realize that anybody else has entered the room. And of course, this is because he's off his antipsychotic medication. We know the elder mother stole those when she got kicked out of the kitchen. His ghost mama blames him for her being a sex worker by being a child that always needed something and by chasing his dad away. And she tells him, like, we planned to leave you in that hotel room that night when your dad left. We had 2 plane tickets, but I just couldn't. But we did put like codeine or something in his grape juice to get him to go to sleep. She is eternally mad because she had to stay. She decided to stay behind, and the dad decided to leave. And he's like, well, I don't understand. Like, you guys never had an issue. And he was like, yeah, we never fought. His mom tells him, like, yeah, we never even had an issue. We never even fought until you came along. And that's what kind of broke the relationship up. Again, now he has to continually, as a child, he continually paid the price for the demise of that relationship. And so she solely promises and constantly reminds him, like, everybody that you love is going to leave you. Everybody that you love is going to leave you. And he's not buying. He's trying not to buy it, but he's losing his grip. So he's believing what this ghost is telling him. Okay. Elder mother is pining all over Ruth now that she's confirmed that there is an actual baby. And Ruth is like, okay, girl, thank you. Appreciate you. We don't got no issue. But she tells her, like, hey, I need you to make the highest one of his special meals so that he could be well again. Like, I know you're drugging him. I know you're doing what you got to do. Blah, 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 blah. But I know he needs his antipsychotics. Elder mother does admit to Ruth, like, hey, I know there's a blockade outside and we can't get no medication, but I got some hidden away. And Ruth's like, girl, why would you do that? She was like, I was just trying to get back at you, girl. My bad. So we're going to go try to prepare a meal, but we'll run into that obstacle later. All right, River is making his speech to the new initiates that showed up to join the Raku after the journalist interview. Of course, he's spinning everything about Lacey and Anthony to be the fault of the government. And then he spots Andrew. And of course, he's going to have to address that at some point. Through this episode, we see 2 funerals taking place, 2 very different funerals taking place. We see one for Lacey, with all the girls and the kids just giving her flowers and just hosting like a traditional funeral. And then we see one for Daikon / Anthony, where the highest is the only person that is going to miss him. He's the only person in the world that's going to miss Daikon in the slightest. That is what it is. Obadiah is at the end of the funeral. River / Daikon stayed behind to kind of spit on his grave and talk trash to the now deceased Daikon, telling him, hey, you made fun of me and you put me in danger and you did all this. Well, who's on top now? Like, look where I am and look who you am. He's kind of just talking that little trash over the ashes. And Obadiah walks up and he's also there, and he admits to River that he did cut Daikon's head off for River. Like, hey, that was your competition. I got rid of the competition. You should be thankful. And he tells Daikon, like, also keep in mind that I'm also always 23, 24, 5 steps ahead of everybody on the compound, and I advise you to watch your step. So I think that relates to, like, him trying to come up with alliances, and probably about that cell phone with him talking to the FBI under a pseudonym. I think that Obadiah is kind of like sneaky like that, where he waits in the corners to glean this information and use it to get what he wants out of people. And you'll see a great example of that by the end of the episode when he goes to the highest to remind him of who he is to him. Either way. Now, I said earlier in the review that River does not have any allies, and he now knows, like, hey, Obadiah is probably getting rid of all the competition on the compound, and I'm scared. And so he now has to go back to Ruth to beg her to be an ally, because Obadiah's power is threatened by River's close proximity to the highest. And Ruth is like, I don't want nothing to do with that. I'm carrying his child, so I'm protected by the highest. Whatever y'all got going on really ain't my business. And Ruth, I understand. I feel you on that, because I was already your ally and you burnt me for just to be in power. So do what you got to do. Leave me out of it. Okay. Elder mother goes to make the lace meal for the highest so we can taper out his mood, because it's going to take about a week to get the meds back in, get his stuff right. And it looks like somebody has stole all the pills. And we see that somebody immediately. That somebody is Obadiah, and he flushes them down the toilet. And I'm of course, it's to keep the highest in a state of mind that is weak and that it's easily malleable so that he can get whatever it is that he wants to get out of the highest. So River's talking to the FBI agent trying to get stuff to save his own life from Obadiah. He don't care about no antipsychotic pills, which that would have been a wiser investment because they saw him looking it up. So they have his laptop. They tapped into his laptop and they can see what he's looking up. And they saw that he was looking up like antipsychotic or when somebody's having a psychotic break. And so they told him like, hey, maybe we should send you guys some antipsychotic medication. That would have been nice. But River's like, girl, I don't care nothing about that. Get me a bulletproof vest. Now, I don't know how that's going to help you with Obadiah when heads are being chopped off, but here we are. To close out the episode, we see Obadiah, well, not the episode, either way, we see Obadiah go to see the highest, and he's kind of stroking his hair because the highest is in a fetal position. He's very malleable right now. His mind is not with him for the most part. He's regressing. And so Obadiah asked him to sing a song that used to cheer him up when he was down. And the song apparently brought them so much joy when they were younger. Obadiah also lets us know that he knows his mom. He knows the highest's mom and Tyrone's mom, Tai. He knows Tai's mom, and he knows that she was the sweetest person he'd ever met in his life. And he also knows that she has a lot of demons that will make her crash out and that will make her rage out, which you're going to assume was a lot of the same pseudo, so to speak, demons that Tyrone has. And he reminds Tyrone that I was your protector during that time. And when you were 10 years old, I was there for you. And, I looked out for you. And he's trying to convince the highest that him and the ghost mama are the only family that he has. Now, Obadiah must have a little bit of the same condition because he wants to, in my opinion, eliminate everybody else that is not considered nuclear family, whether that's, River, whoever else. Now, he's telling Tyrone that him and his ghost mama are the only family that he has. Obadiah, that would mean that you're the only family that he has because his mama is now a ghost. Okay, cool. But we do learn that the only reason he started this cult is because, we learned from Tyrone, because his mom was trying to convince him, like, hey, nobody loves you like me and Obadiah. Nobody loves you more than us, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, no, I created a family. I created this cult so that I could have a family. I felt so unloved my whole life. So now I have all this love. You can't get to me. And now, again, we see that he's regressed back to his 10-year-old self. But he also does sing this song. What was the song? Mr. Sun, Mr. Golden Sun. I think it's Mr. Golden Sun. Or Rain, Rain, Go Away. Rain, Rain, Go Away, come again another day. Something about Tai wants to go out and play. So, Obadiah. My guess is that Obadiah is, I don't think Obadiah is his father. I don't think that, because I think we should have confirmed that in this scene. I think that Obadiah is one of his mom's Johns that stuck around long term. Or so I guess he went from John, upgraded to boyfriend. Let's just say his Tyrone's mom's boyfriend. And when his mom would rage out, Obadiah would sing the song, or they sing the song together as a family. Or what it is. Obadiah stood in a place of protection for Tyrone during these times in his life. Even though he ended up, I think he ended up in foster care because he calls his mom birth mother. So I think he ends up in foster care. Correct me if I'm wrong, or, let me know what you know differently in the comments. And so this is where he is. And that sucks because he is, he's gonna spend a lot of the rest of the season in this state, which could cause more people to lose their lives because he's not sound and we don't have the medication he needs to kind of ground him and bring him back to earth, even though I don't know if the medicine is bringing him all the way back. Well, we can get him 70% back with the meds, and that's okay with me. Okay. River tells the journalist and the photographer that, hey, because remember, after Lacey set herself on fire, they kept them their hostage. They said, hey, take them in my office and lock them in there. They ain't going nowhere. So River was able to work out some negotiations with the FBI agent while the heist is distracted with his mental breakdown. And he tells the journalist and the photographer that, hey, y'all can leave, but only after we get our stories together about what happened to bipolar Lacey and the fact that she was driven to suicide by the barricade outside by the FBI agents that stopped her from getting her meds. And then they agree, and they also have to give over their home addresses as insurance. And of course the journalist, she still plans to put the interview out as recorded, and then they meet back up with the FBI agents, and then now she realizes like, hey, y'all played me, because they pulled like a little chip thing out of the camera. I guess where they were like getting information, or probably secretly. I don't know what the chip was for, because if everything was recorded and everything had audio, you already have it, so there was no point in the extra bugging, but whatever. All right. And so somehow Andrew has convinced River that he's loyal, and that he came back. He didn't tell the FBI nothing, and that he will protect him against Obadiah. And in return, River will use his position to protect Andrew. And he also uses heat and glitch in his personal detail. River, this is going to be costly, because Andrew, cool, you got an FBI agent on your team, but River, you think that you are so powerful that you're untouchable. You want to be Daikon, but you're not Daikon. That's the thing. You don't have the same ruthlessness, so to speak, that Daikon has, and you don't have the same buy-in. Like him and Tyrone have been together since day one in this thing. You don't have that type of vested interest, so you don't really have that cutthroat capability. And we saw that when y'all were doing those little witch hunt trials where you was trying to spare your old boy Peter. But whatever. And then you got Heat and Glitch, and Heat and Glitch are there from the cartel to get where they need to go, cause as much mayhem, and get up out of there. So again, the Three Stooges is not going to do you well, but oh well, you got it. All right, let's jump into episode 11, entitled Sights and Silence. And so the Heist calls Andrew to see why he haven't checked in. Like, you just got back on the compound, you've been back for a while, and you ain't come see me. What's up? And he gives him and he's like, my bad, I was coming, but the block was hot. There was a lot going on. We're good. And he tells Andrew, like, hey, you're on a little side mission. You need to find out who killed Daikon. And he's like, well, do you have any ideas? And he recommends 3 names. He said it could be Andrew. It could be Ruth, Obadiah, and River. Ruth, Obadiah, and River. Those are the 3 people that I think has something to do with it. You need to figure it out. All right. We see Obadiah and River, they're talking in the shower, and they somehow end up on the same page. They end up agreeing, and River tells him, like, hey, the interview is spreading, so the interview has already been put out. Now, I don't know if the interview was tailored to cut out. Well, no, let's just say Lacey's suicide was left in because they're still spinning it to say that the FBI caused it by not allowing her to get her bipolar medication. So either way, the interview is spreading, and more people are showing up at the gate to join, and River sees this as an opportunity to make money. Of course, when these people come in, they give over all their worldly possessions, so that's income for River and those that are in these higher positions to touch money and move stuff around and touch all these assets. And so this seems to pique Obadiah's interest, but they don't think that the Heist is up to it. Like, he's mentally unwell to deal with all this influx. And so River suggests that they just let the Heist self-destruct, and they're right there by his side to help him pick up the pieces. And then, of course, while in the background, probably taking hold of this money. And it sounds good, but I don't know if Obadiah is trying to double cross him, because I feel like Obadiah has as much buy-in with the Heist as Daikon, if not more than the original Daikon Anthony, right? So I feel like he might just be getting this information just to have this as leverage over River's head, because earlier in the last episode, you were basically threatening him, letting him know, like, hey, I'm always 2 steps ahead of you, so I see you, and I see you for your works. So I think this might have been a misstep on River's behalf, but it's River. He makes a lot of mistakes, so oh well. All right. It appears that Ruth and Joan are back in the saddle to set River up, and Joan needs to move that money because River has already revealed it to the Heist. And so when the Heist goes to see it and the money is not there, that's going to put River in a bad position. So they're definitely going to do that to put him in a bad spot. And so, of course, they're going to get his laptop to try to move that money over. He and Glitch were outside talking to Andrew when one of the women recognized Glitch, which is Lilo's brother. Of course, they try to play dumb, but Elder Mother is picking up on it, because these two are standing outside of her trailer talking about how they're there on a mission to get the money that Lilo was talking about, and the guns and things that he buried on the compound as his insurance policies in case anything went wrong. So that's gonna get them caught up, I'm sure, at some point. Obadiah goes to see the blind one. I can't think of his name. The blind one, and teaches him how to tap into his heightened senses now that he has lost his sight. He tells him, he also tells him, like, hey, I need you to hone in on the skill so that it can be an asset. So I guess he's going to hone in on these skills so that he can be his ears on the compound. Because, hey, you already here, you might as well make yourself useful. You've already been punished. You've already been washed clean and renewed in the Raku energy, so we need to make you useful. So you see him working with him, trying to get him to glean in and hone in on these new set of skills because his eyesight has been taken. So Obadiah's playing the long game. Obadiah's definitely playing the long game for sure. All right, so we see Zane ask the girl that recognized Glitch, like, what happened? She tells her, like, the guy is horrible. Glitch he's a bad person. The highest sent some of the girls to the city with Lilo, and of course they made them prostitutes for however long they were out there. And being with Lilo was the worst because he was torturous. Like, he would overpower them, he would withhold food, he would do all types of stuff to them. Either way, she overheard a conversation between Lilo and his brother, that brother that's now in the compound, one night, where Lilo was saying that he stashed millions and guns in the compound, like I said, in case anything went down. So of course we know that Glitch is only there to get that stuff and wreak havoc and be a piece of crap. So we see Ruth and Joan. They finally get logged into River's laptop. They've been trying forever and they ain't got that much more opportunities, but they did figure out the passcode. Meanwhile, they had already told River that the Heist wanted to see him later on that evening. Of course, that was to get him out of there. And River's like, "Oh, the Heist, he's at the Heist," and the Heist is like, "I didn't ask to see you." He's like, "Oh, you didn't ask to see me? Okay, cool." He clicks and he realizes that, oh, somebody wants me out of my trailer for a certain amount of time. So he is sprinting back to the trailer, trying to get back to the trailer, but he's bombarded with all these applauding people that are outside, all these new converts that are there. He's like, get out the way, I'm trying to get to my trailer. And so of course we're just gonna assume that Ruth and Joan are successful, but I'm sure we'll see that next week. Either way, finally we see Glitch go to that girl that recognized him outside, and he chokes her to sleep. So she is no longer there to attest and to witness to who he is. Luckily, Zane was able to get the information about what is on the compound. She was able to recognize that and get that information before that girl got unalived. Either way, we do see some insight into how far Glitch is willing to go to hide his secrets and to do what he came there to do. Okay, sorry about that. Again, this is a very long one. I couldn't dedicate three separate videos to this review. Either way, I hope that it was helpful. And like I said, this was season 5, episode 9, 10, and 11. Things are definitely picking up. There were some surprises. There in those episodes with me, but I'm looking forward to see how this Obadiah dynamic is going to expound, and a lot more of what his role is going to be in these remaining seasons remaining episodes in the season. Let me know what y'all think, and we'll ride this one out to the end as well. Let's talk about it in the comments. Either way, like, comment, share, subscribe, or whatever it is that you feel like doing. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.